This is Nissa Hussain, and I've contacted Nissa because I've read his story over the years, and I don't think enough people know it. I think if you stop the average person in the British street, they will know nothing about what this man's been through and what his family have been through. I've come here today to try and bring attention on it and bring awareness to the fact of what's happening in our country to many people for expressing their freedom of religion. Tell us about where you was born, when you moved to Bradford, what's happened, and just give us a brief description of how you've ended up here.
Yeah, born and raised in Birmingham, 1965. I actually moved to Bradford about 27 years ago, 1990, and it's culminated in us leaving Bradford under armed police escort.
Under armed police escort, because
we're a convert Christian family. We've suffered persecution for 16 years. The police, the West Yorkshire Police, or Bradford Police rather, haven't acknowledged it as a religious hate crime up to the point of my attack.
They used baseball bats, was it?
Yeah, it was pickaxe handles.
And they went for your head?
The first blow went for the side of my head. Yeah. As I blocked it, my hand literally exploded with the force of the hit. It reeled me backwards and I caught my heel on the curb and I fell backwards and I hit the back of my head against the wall behind me. I was concussed and I literally got pummeled. And if it wasn't for these two Polish neighbours of mine, several doors up the way, who just happened to be outside, came dashing to my aid and saw them off, I probably wouldn't be here telling you the story. In that particular instance, in November of 2015, June of 2015, I had information through a mosque meeting that the extended family a few doors away from us, who were the catalyst to our problems at that particular address, were out to have me done over. So I reported to the police and they dismissed it. There was a witness to it as well. What we were being subjected to on a daily basis, which amounts, we had 50 thugs lined up outside our home for 18 minutes on the CCTV. And
the police come?
I phoned this sergeant chappie directly and I said, this is what's happening. And he said, I'm sending some response cars. They never did.
They never sent response cars to your house?
No, they never did. I've been stopped outside church doors, actually, by an angry mob with a baby in my arms, you know. I was told by a shopkeeper, a young man, when I walked with two of my children, that had I been in the Middle East, this is bearing in mind about 18, 19 years ago, had I been in the Middle East or Pakistan, he'd be the first to chop off my head. Coming out of Islam, I've lost everything. Brothers, sisters, parents. My father died in 2011. He was estranged from me for over 15 years, and even when he died, nobody phoned me up to say, yeah, your dad's died.
So what was it like for your kids living there? Were they targeted? Were they abused? What was it like in school for them?
Yeah, they've known nothing but persecution since they were knee high. You know, actually, my oldest boy, he's should I say, he was 8, and the girls are 2 years apart, respectively, and they've known nothing for the last 16 years, almost 17 years, but persecution by my so-called own kind. I can't express to you in words the misery, the fear, the daily intimidation, and the daily thought of not only being seriously injured, but also being killed, actually. The last 2 years, we were prisoners in our own home. And of course, the kids are living in constant fear. What will happen to my dad as soon as he walks out the door? Will I make it back home? You know, nothing could have prepared me for this, absolutely nothing. The injustice is so painful, I struggle to try to give you words as to the injustice that we've gone through, you know, and suffered over very, very many years, and the collusion, the corruption of the police of Bradford. They're in complete denial, and I think it's simply the case that they don't want to upset it's appeasement. They've seen me being attacked on numerous occasions, cars torched, cars rammed, drive-by brickings. It literally has been a war zone. I've tried my best in my capacity to turn to church folk, every folk, you know, MPs, you know, and we've just been shut down. I've had the most awful betrayal by 3 bishops of Bradford, two previous and this current Bishop Toby Howarth. David James back in 2005 in a face-to-face meeting told me he wouldn't welcome converts to the church. And you have the likes of Nick Baines. He's now the bishop of the Leeds and the Dales, you know, and Justin Welby's over at Sudan right now. He's over there campaigning for religious freedoms, and I have been deliberately willfully failed by them. And maybe it impacts on their interfaith, project, the ecumenicalism. And Justin Welby has also turned his back on me and walked away. I met him in a convention in June 2014, and he knew who I was. He was a bit anxious. I was actually speaking to a black bishop, Bishop Josiah, who's been celebrated for his interfaith promotion. And I walked up to him and said, "I'm Nisar Hussain. We're a convert Christian family. We're being annihilated." The gentleman's jaw just dropped, actually, and Justin Welby came dashing on the podium, and he led him by the arm away from me. And I said to him, "Mr. Welby, I need to speak to you. I need 2 minutes of your time. It's about us as a family, and we're converts, and we're being destroyed." And actually, he said, "Well, they're doing all they can." I said, "No, you're not. The bishops have failed me." And he completely dismissed it and just walked away. "We're doing all we can," he said, and he walked away. He just didn't want to engage.
What about politicians, local political figures?
More recently, Naz Shah has been an absolute disgrace. After 3 failed appointments, she's...
When you say failed appointments?
Well, I contacted her and said, "Look, you're my new MP now, and you need to support us, help us as an MP." And I outlined the whole facts, and her initial email was, "Look, okay, I need to help you. Oh my God, shock horror." And then we'll meet the following week. When the following week came, a few days before, she said to me, "I can't make this appointment. Let's do it for the following week." Similarly, the following week, she emails me again and says that she needs to take advice, and can we meet the following week? And then the third appointment, when I went to confirm a day or 2 before, "Am I okay now to come and meet with you?" There was absolutely no response, and despite my best efforts, she never responded again. It's a case of not what you know, but who you know. Her office manager, Mohammed Shabir, is very closely linked to the family that had created with a catalyst. Just fairly recently, Sarah Champion, the MP for Rotherham, spoke out and said, "Get real," or something of that nature. It is a Pakistani problem. She's absolutely right. I'm a Pakistani, born and raised, and I would say to her, she is absolutely right. Because of the political correctness, and so I'm led to believe Naz Shah has got 100 of her MP buddies, and they've ousted Sarah Champion. It is just gutter politics.
How many people are living in fear in the UK within the Islamic communities who want to express their freedom?
I certainly can't quantify and say to you 100,000, but I know there's many thousands.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier about support as well as the church failure. Christians in general, besides one charity, and I've got to mention the Barnabas Fund. But I would say, looking back now, how used I was to set up a charity called Safe Haven with Christian Concern. It's come to nothing. This very headstrong lady, Andrea Williams, has turned her back, shelved me and run off with my baby. So at some point, what I would love to do, and I'm very passionate about this, having gone through this thing and suffered with over 16 years of my life, and my family along with me, is to set up a charity involving support for converts and those who are leaving Islam. I have every sympathy with the atheists as well, who leave Islam and having a very terrible ordeal as well, actually. So ideally, I don't feel the time is ripe right now because I'm concentrating on my health.
When you say your health as well, what did you do for work?
Previously, I was a nurse.
You was a nurse.
I'm from a nursing background.
Nurse man.
Yeah.
And you're not working now?
No.
Is this to do with your attacks?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
So you're living with post-traumatic stress
Yeah,
disorder?
I have been for very many years actually, and also still have a few issues with the fallout of the attack in November 2015. That's more physical as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you've been quite vocal about leaving Islam, have you had a lot of other people contact you in similar positions?
Yeah, can I just say very quickly, I haven't been vocal per se. It's just that it's gone out like wildfire.
Because of the news.
You're told by your best friend, or you thought he was your best friend, a fellow Pakistani chap, never come to his house again. He then tells somebody, it then goes like out like wildfire, and before you know it, you're suffering immeasurably. You're this instant contempt. You know, you could be best of brothers the one minute, and as soon as they found out you're converted, you're the arch enemy.
Thank you for watching. If you like that and you want to see more, click like and subscribe.